Prepare for introduction.
Yeah, why don't you come on in? We'll make a circle. It's a pretty small group here, so. Okay. Good evening to all of you who are here, and you, Emily, I can look at you here now. Hi, it's good to see you. So welcome to the Appamana August 2023 one-day sit class. I'm very happy to have you. And I think that there's a couple of people that are new, so why don't we go around and do names, and we'll do it here in this end first, and then we'll catch you in just a second. Okay, so I'm Laurie. First, I'd like to start with the usual, the intensive guidelines. So to start with, the theme for this intensive is the Ananasati Sutta. And so we'll be talking about that this whole weekend. And as far as the guidelines, there's a page or so of this. So practice intensives are a gift we create for ourselves and each other. It is a gift of space, silence, respect for each person's containment, and an expression of mutual care through our work and practice together. Please take advantage of this rare opportunity by bringing yourself wholeheartedly to your practice in every moment. Double.
Recording in progress.
Thank you.
Silence is our most important container, so it's important to, especially with this one, I kind of want to focus on just kind of resting where we are, and so silence is of the utmost. Being in stillness is so important, and it's such a temptation sometimes to talk to each other or signal, and so I'd like to kind of hold that to a minimum if we can. Just talk when needed for work practice or question and answers. That's fine. We can talk. But anyway, okay. So make every effort to mindfully maintain silence, except during practice discussion, group inquiry, and Q&A following talks. During work periods, keep silence except for the briefest possible questions or discussions necessary to the work. Do not make eye contact or signal each other, protecting each person's practice. This itself is a very difficult and demanding practice. But as we are taking the backward step, as Dogen puts it, and turning our light inward to rest in mindful awareness, we provide for each other the protection and support for this shift. Notice the natural tendency to scatter your energies when in a transition from zazen to standing, from meditation periods to work periods, meals and breaks. Be alert and curious about whatever is arising, without any attempt at manipulation at all. Please follow the schedule completely. Schedules are posted on the refrigerator and back in the back room. Be on time for zazen, which Zen time is usually 5 minutes before anything starts. So that goes for meals and work practice and talks. There'll be a set of clappers 10 minutes before a sitting period that follows a break. Please come at once to the Zendo when you hear them. take care of your space, keeping it neat and orderly. It's your practice home for the intensive. Before you leave the Zendo, make sure your cushions are straight and aligned, and that any of your personal belongings are neatly arranged. You can change to a chair or a bench, or get an additional cushion or support during any break, including walking meditation. There are empty cushions and empty chairs in case you need to change from a cushion to a chair or a chair to a cushion. If more chairs are needed, which I think plenty in this side room, the other side of the wall. So you can bring one from there if you need one. You can use the restroom during walking meditations or in the breaks. Please wait for the second clapper that starts the walking meditation before leaving the Zendo. Intensives work by containing the energy as we normally dissipate in our distractions and busyness. Allow yourself to be immersed in the silence and stillness here as much as possible. This is extremely important in each person's practice. When you go back to your room at night or to your homes, please maintain silence even with your roommates. Please avoid using computers, cell phones, televisions, or other devices during the time of the intensive, except for emergencies. Again, this is kind of a distraction, so when we do those kinds of things. And if we don't do it, it becomes clear what things are arising for us, and we can pay attention to that. When we take a break like this, we can notice our automatic and sometimes frantic clinging and habits of distraction. But this is the best way to fully experience this gift of time and space. Starting tomorrow, we will, or I will, be offering practice discussion. And I sent you folks online, the schedule with the practice discussion assignments. If something doesn't work for you all, especially the ones who are going to be online, please let me know or the monitor know, and they can tell me. And for the rest of you, it's on the schedule in the kitchen. Where the time is, the practice discussion is the last column, so you can look at that. Okay. Please remember that our Zen practice is to leave no trace. Be attentive and keep your space well. Be mindful to keep the tea area neat and clean after yourself. Please label the cup with your name and use it for drinks during the day. And you can wash your cups as needed. Tomorrow morning we'll have a 30-minute walk after the first Zazen period. And it's probably the only time of day anybody wants to be outside. So you're welcome to walk in the neighborhood around here. There's the golf course. You can't really go that far in 30 minutes. I thought I could go all the way around it last time when it didn't work. But you can walk around there a little bit. And there's some nice streets with older homes off this way. So anyway, I'll just be back in time for the next set or activity. Okay, we have a catch and release policy, kind of as much as possible using a cup and paper if you want to take a bug outside. Most of the ants are coming in here and dying, but anyway, if there was anything else. So we all support each other, so please be mindful of the roles that each of you have. That's on the refrigerator too. And show up on time for these responsibilities. If you have particular needs in the Zendo, please ask one of the monitors. If you have any questions during this time, or if you feel ill or distressed, please get in touch with a monitor or talk to me. And if you feel like leaving, please let me know. Okay, so that's Are there any questions about any of that? Are you guys? Okay. So, as I said, the theme for this intensive is the Ananasati, which is translated as the mindfulness of breathing. Just to give you some background on some of the things that I used for this is in the Buddha's words, which is an anthology of discourses from the Pali Canon. In B.Q. Nyano Mali's book, Mindfulness of Breathing, it's the translation of the Buddhist text for the Pali Canon, extracts from the Pali commentaries. I also visited, Peg's talked about this Ananasati Sutta also in 2020. And so I consulted her, listened to some of her stuff. And I also consulted Analio's work on the Ananasati too, so a little bit of this and that. And also I'm basing some of this on my own experience because I spent a bit of time working with this on my own. So my first question is does anybody have any experience with the Ananasati? Yes. Yes, we were both recorded.
Really?
People are asking questions. Anyway, nobody else? No, okay. It doesn't matter, you don't have to know anything, I just wanted to make sure that I was going to, anyway, starting from the beginning, which is where one should start anyway. I don't want to bore people studying it for years. Anyway, although it's worthwhile for anybody. All right, so as a background to this sutra, the things that I wanted to look at was what is it exactly, and where did it come from, what's its function, and how are we going to use this? And the Ananasati is part of Vipassana training. I think it was Theravada, it's from the Theravada school. This is from the Pali Canon. Okay. And it provides support for practice, for one thing. Analio says that it is lucid awareness grounded in breathing, which is kind of an interesting interpretation of that. According to the Pali Canon, it's one of the most prominent methods of mind training discussed in the Pali Canon, and it's part of the first branch of the mental training known as the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the Katara Satipatthana. It's also called the only path, it's considered the only path for realizing nirvana. I don't know about that, but anyway, it's a really important work. It can be considered basic in some ways, but it's also what the Buddha used when he sat under the Bodhi tree and was enlightened. He was using the Ananasati. And the Buddha also used it. Well, he left for 30 days and was gone, and the disciples were worried about him. And when he finally came back 30 days later, they asked him, "Where have you been?" "So I've been in the forest." "What have you been doing?" "Meditating." And he said he was using the Ananasati. And they were astounded. They said, "Well, that's a basic text. Why would you be using it?" And yet, obviously, it's worthwhile if the Buddha was using it, in his advanced state. So, the 4 foundations of mindfulness are discussed in two of the different, the Digna Nikaya and also in the Majjhima Nikaya. And both of these 2 discourses connect up the foundations of mindfulness with the pivotal doctrine of the 4 Noble Truths, on which all aspects of the teachings converge. I thought that was really interesting. I hadn't really considered that, but it's, as you'll see tomorrow when we look at the whole sutra, the 16 steps, you see that the 4 Noble Truths do in fact show up at the end, so in contemplation of those. So that was kind of interesting. That's such a core teaching as well, the 4 Noble Truths. So, According to a statement made by the Buddha, it is through not discovering bhikkhus, this is again another quote, not penetrating the Four Noble Truths that both I and you have been traversing the round of rebirths for so long. So it is through not discovering and not penetrating the Four Noble Truths that we continue to transverse the round of rebirths for so long. So it is through not discovering, not penetrating the noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of the origin of suffering, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, and the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So thus, the Ananasati is one of the methods of penetrating the Four Noble Truths. So the mindfulness of breathing is a meditation. Oh, I already told you this about that. It's important for the basic level as well as more advanced. So there was another story that Peg talked about, a student who was told by his teacher to practice the Ananasati. And it was a young student, and he did it for a while and then got bored with it. And he went back to his teacher and said, "This is boring." Paying attention to the breath. And the teacher, this is typical Zen stuff, right? Sounds like it to me. He grabbed the student by the collar and dragged him down to the river and put his head underwater. And eventually let him go and said, "Now, what do you think about how important is the breath now?" So rough training there, but anyway. So in the concluding words of the Majjhima Nikaya are these: there are, Ananda, these roots of trees, translation, vicinity of trees, being in the vicinity of trees, these empty places, or rather secluded places. Meditate, Ananda. Do not delay, lest you regret it later. This is our instruction to you. So, indeed, he provided the instruction and determined that the mindfulness of breathing is of great fruit and is of great benefit. And once he told this to all his many legions of bhikkhus, they were rejoiced to hear his words. So, what is the objective of the Ananasati? For one thing, it's pertaining the mind. I think most of us are familiar with the Oxford stories and so forth in the mind. How do you get the mind to settle down? And so this particular 16 steps assists greatly with calming the mind. So if you're having scattered thoughts and you can't seem to focus, this is a really good meditation for that. It brings you to one pointed awareness eventually and a deeper states of concentration. So that's been my experience of it. There are times when my mind is going every which direction and I can't make it settle down, but somehow using the breath, the most basic thing, is very helpful to bring you right in and keep you. There's a really good, here it is, a good analogy of it. They talk about it in these teachings. This is from the words of the Buddha, and the analogy of a mad cow. Your mind is like a mad cow, and how do you tame it? So the bhikkhu, the monks, are used to following visible forms, looking at things, and has no wish to mount mindfulness of breathing concentration as its object. So, what do you do with a mad cow? Well, you tie him up. You tie him up alone by a rope to a strong post driven into the ground. And what happens is the calf will run to and fro, unable to get away. Eventually, he sits down or lies down by the post. So it is for the bhikkhu. Wishing to tame his corrupted mind, which has for a long time been nourished on the essence arising out of sense objects, such as visible forms, etc., he takes to the forest. or to the root of a tree, so around trees. And he finds a secluded place, and there he ties himself by the rope of mindfulness to the post of in and out breathing. So although the mind will wander about a little bit, since it no longer, once it no longer is receiving or obtains the object that it is searching, it's formerly accustomed to, that is visual things, and it's unable to break the rope of mindfulness, it can't run away, so it sits, your mind sits or lies down beside the object that the mindfulness, by virtue of, they call it, this is in Theravada, by access of full absorption. So in other words, it's talking about a meditative absorption and the states of concentration. That's basically what they're talking about. So that's what pulls them in. It keeps them bound to the pole, fixed, instead of looking at all sorts of things. Okay, so I'd like to start, we're going to start with the first 4 steps of the Ananasati. So, let's see. So let's just do that. So to start, what I would like you to do is get comfortable and seated. And the first thing to do, let me get this over here. So anyway, just sit calmly and just relax your mind and relax your mind and realize there's nothing we need to do right now. There's nothing that has to be done, no plans, we don't have any responsibilities. So we just sit in calmness for a moment. And close your eyes. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Return your awareness inward. And then consider your backbone. So think about each vertebra and the separation from one vertebra to the next, starting from the bottom of your spinal cord, bottom of the back. And just move up to each vertebra slowly, just taking them into consideration, just noticing them one by one. All the way up to the skull. And just notice, if you can, the space, or maybe imagine the space between each one. And just work yourself one by one to all the way up to the base of the skull. And just think about aligning each one on top of the other. And then when you get to the top, put your attention on your chest, have your chest open, your shoulders back. Your body is upright but relaxed. And you have just an easy resting state. And now we'll start on the actual steps. Timekeeper, I'll tell you when, but we'll do 3 bells for starting, and then it'll be 3 minutes, and then 1 bell. So we're going to be doing breathing in long, and then breathing out long, breathing in short, breathing out short. And I just want to explain that just a minute. When we say long or short, it's talking about the extent of space. So, for example, long breath would be as an elephant or a snake. It's a long space within. It's a long space. And a short would be like a dog or a rabbit. Okay. So, breathing in long. I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long. I know I breathe out long. So just follow along with me. Breathing in short. I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short. I know I breathe out short. Okay, so we're going to do that again, but we're going to be timing it. So that will be 3 bells, 3 minutes. And I'll lead you through it. Breathing in long. I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long. I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short. I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short. I know I breathe out short. So we're just going to keep doing that until the timer goes off. Breathing in long. I know I breathe in long. Breathing in out long. I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short. I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short. I know I breathe out short. Breathing in long. I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long. I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short. I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short. I know I breathe out short. Breathing in long. I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long. I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short, I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short, I know I breathe out short. Breathing in long, I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long, I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short, I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short, I know I breathe out short. Breathing in long, I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long, I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short, I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short, I know I breathe out short. Breathing in long, I know I breathe in long. Breathing out long, I know I breathe out long. Breathing in short, I know I breathe in short. Breathing out short, I know I breathe out short. And then I'll let you go at your own pace. So, what did you notice during that? How was that?
I wasn't sure whether, when you described long and short, whether that was supposed to be the duration of the in-breath and the out-breath, or if it refers to something else.
Yeah, the long is, well, they talk about it as the length that it's going, so it's the same distance, right? So, yeah, it is longer. It is longer.
The duration of the in-breath is long, and then the duration, okay.
The duration is the same for both longs, and then the short and the short.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I observed that by concentrating that thoroughly just on each breath in and out, I didn't get very many other thoughts that arose.
Yeah,
And by slowing down that much and being that acutely aware.
that's really great, because that's part of well, there's two things that are part of it, is already at this level is insight coming in, and that's a lot what that's about, is that when you really focus on something, your mind can't go anywhere else, right? So that's really good. Yes.
So when you said breathing in long, like I was already breathing out when you started, and then I thought, oh, she means for us to just like wait. Then I'm holding my breath.
No,
Then I'm
right.
getting anxious that I'm doing it wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I went through all that for several rounds, and then I finally just settled down. I thought, okay, I'm gonna go slow. And I think that's what she means.
That's what I meant. I should have told you. I should.
And then I started feeling the calm. And it wasn't, yeah.
That's,
I went to something different. I had the same thing. And so I decided, well, I can't go that slow. So whatever it is I'm doing, I'm gonna say that. If she's saying breathe in while I'm breathing out, I'm gonna say breathe out. And then I calm down.
okay, I'm gonna, this is the steps, so everybody, I'm not going to have one, two, three. Anyway, yeah, so you should work on it at your own rate as a friend.
Practice for you. Yeah.
Thank you. So now you know what we're doing, so we can do it another time, because I just want to work on, except we're running way over time, but we can do it another time. Because this one is actually the most important one. And I want to say that, yeah, you know what you're doing while you're doing it in this step, so it makes it a lot easier. Did you get one, Kim? Yeah, okay. So let's do it again, and this time I'm not gonna say anything, and now you know what to do, you got your paper, and you're just reading your mind. And also, I wanna say something else. This is the instruction, but once you know the instruction, I think it's way too many words, it's too many words for me for my breath. So when I did it myself for over 20 years, I just said breathing in long. And that seemed to accommodate my breath. So the point is to breathe out long and breathe out short, do it, follow the guideline. But all those words is in my mind too much. So if you find it too much, I would say cut the words. The most important thing to be saying is I breathe out. I breathe in long. I breathe out long. I breathe in short. So that's what I would recommend you to do, actually. It's all in all those words. So let's do it again.
So I breathe in short, I breathe out short, it's not on this sheet.
It's not.
You put in long.
Did I put it long two times? Oh, sorry.
It's breathing in and breathing out.
Yeah, breathing in, breathing out, and then the second one should be short.
The third and fourth are one trains.
I don't have it. Okay, so breathing in long. I breathe in. Yeah, this is right. Oh, yeah, I see what I did wrong. Okay, yeah, so 1, 2 is right, but then I left out the short.
Okay.
So add in short.
And forget about 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're not gonna look at those right now because we've run out of time. We'll get to them tomorrow. Okay, so we're just doing one and, well, both sets of long and short.
Come on.
3 minutes. It seemed like a long time to me. So, how was that? Is that different than the first time?
That went by really fast.
Okay. Short. Short? And so how about, is it calming?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Very first breath, I said, I breathe in long, and I started, and my body butted in and said, no, this is a short breath. And so I followed that, and it was a short breath out. But then it kept doing that. I would think in advance, I'm gonna do this breath, and the body said, this is my show. And so instead of thinking in advance, I tried to just think about, what do I think this breath is going to be? And try to anticipate it, but I was wrong on that half the time too. So then instead of anticipating, I'd start a breath and see, what does it feel like this will be? And I would say that, and when I got it wrong, I would just correct. And that's about where I ended up.
Okay.
So that was not calming.
Yeah, it seems like somebody needs to take control there. Either the body or the mind.
Forgot my antidepressants or something.
Okay. Any comments from you guys? I didn't mean to ignore you.
I would say it was easier the second time because I was letting my body do what it wanted to do. It didn't need as much control as yours did, but it still was sort of more comfortable to let my body do the short and the long.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I did forget in the middle sometimes which one I was doing.
Yeah, I think with this, it takes a little time to get used to doing it, and then once you know what you're doing, you just do it, and But it's kind of interesting. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, I thought of breathing long as diaphragmatic breathing, and then breathing in short was thoracic breathing.
Yeah,
And,
that's,
but, yeah,
yeah.
those are terms that are familiar to me, so
Yeah.
that worked for me.
Yeah, actually, that's right. The length of it is not necessarily it. I told you wrong. It is the diaphragmatic, because it's like I said, the elephant it's longer, extended. It's the extent of the breath as opposed to. They don't actually say in any of the instructions that I see diaphragmatic versus thoracic, but that's what it is. It's the length of the breath.
So it's not the duration, because I was really doing duration. I was doing like a long was maybe like 5 seconds in, and then 5 seconds out, and the short was maybe 2 seconds in and 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think they kind of overlap.
Yeah, they have.
So I think that the short is the thoracic is gonna be necessarily shorter, but the descriptions that I had, it kept saying the extent, it's an extent of space, so that makes me think it's yeah, go ahead.
I loved your metaphors. I had an elephant and then I had a rabbit. And then I had an elephant and then I had a rabbit. And it worked.
That's great.
For the long ones, I had the sense that I was breathing all the way down into my abdomen and letting it expand. And then as I breathed out, then I was compressing until all of that exhaled.
Yeah,
So that would be more what you call diaphragmatic.
yeah.
Also became aware of some tension now in my body. It was so relaxing, and I really started learning more about where I'm holding some tightness.
Okay, well, that's gonna be the next steps, actually, so that's great, you're already advancing. So, all right, so we'll leave that, we've gone over our time, I believe. And so now we'll go into silence again. For the first time.